Within the last half hour, President Joe Biden wrapped up his first public engagement since leaving the presidential race.
He delivered the keynote address at a ceremony in Austin celebrating the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
KVUE's senior reporter Adam Bennett shows us 3 reforms to the Supreme Court he laid out in his speech today. Adam?
Well, Brian, that was a huge part of this speech, wrapped up about 20 minutes ago and lasted for about 20 minutes. The president talked about the importance of courts in upholding civil rights, and he used that to call for what he calls 3 bold reforms to the U.S. Supreme Court. This event today, it was invitation only here. It was to commemorate the 60th anniversary of that signing of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. That was by President Lyndon B. Johnson. The library's director calls the timing of today's event extraordinary. This was postponed 2 weeks after the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump, and in a very different political landscape now, because in 1968, President Johnson, he also announced in his final year of his first term that he would not seek a second term. Johnson also faced low poll numbers ahead of November. Well, today, President Biden did not address his own withdrawal from the race. Instead, he called for those 3 reforms to the Supreme Court. Those included term limits for justices, a binding code of conduct and ethics rules, and a constitutional amendment to remove a president's immunity from prosecution.
This nation was founded on the principle there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. And for all practical purposes, the court's decision almost certainly means that a president can violate their oath, flout our laws, and face no consequences.
Today, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson called President Biden's reform proposals, quote, dead on arrival. Well, during his speech this afternoon, Biden responded by saying whatever Johnson proposes is dead on arrival. Now, this evening, President Biden will head to Houston to pay respects to the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Reporting live at LBJ Library, Adam Bennett, KVUE News.
Adam, thank you so much.
Now, this visit is President Biden's first as president, but Austin's been a popular destination for presidents over the last decade or so. 10 years ago, in fact, 4 presidents were at the LBJ Library for the Civil Rights Summit, marking the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act.
President Barack Obama joined former Presidents Clinton, George W. Bush, and Carter. President Obama visited Austin a half-dozen times during his 2 terms, and during his presidency, President Donald Trump made a couple of stops here in Austin, including a tour of an Apple computer manufacturing facility in November of 2019.